Hey everybody, Grit21 back with another video. And I know it's been a while since I've done a personal video about much of anything, tutorial, whatever. YouTube's just been kind of discouraging to me. But I've been wanting to do this video for quite some time, and I never really thought about how could I do this video and like properly explain audio. I've done videos about audio before. A couple of years ago, I'd done basically a video talking about how I mix audio for when I live stream and stuff. And since then, a lot has changed when it comes to mixing audio. I have the Astro A50 headset, which is very cool how it's designed as far as how it handles audio and stuff. And I thought I'd just kind of talk about some of the settings that I use. I know this video is basically not going to apply to a lot of people, unfortunately. But I thought it would just be interesting anyway. I kind of tweeted about this on Twitter as well and kind of explained what I feel like is like the best mix for audio for the most part. So I'm going to go ahead and try to maybe like explain myself a little bit and maybe show you some of the ways that I mix, some things I've learned about mixing audio when it comes to like mixing your voice, mixing your friends, mixing, you know, everything else and stuff. So I just thought it'd just be something important and interesting to basically talk about and to see what, see if it would be helpful for you guys. So I actually need to show my OBS here, so I'm actually going to drag it into view, which is going to be interesting. And let's go ahead and do full face. Okay, this looks really weird. So this is basically my OBS right here. This is my sound mixer for Windows and stuff. And essentially what I have right here is my VoIP, which is Discord and maybe, well, I don't know, sometimes in-game audio, like in-game communications for games like Overwatch, for example. Then I have my PC audio, and then I have my mixer board, which is actually a Yamaha MG10XU, which, by the way, is a very good mixer board. I would totally recommend it for anybody that wants to do like multiple mic setups and stuff. It's really, really good against the Yamaha MG10XU. So this is basically like all the levels that I use, and I like to kind of explain some cool features in OBS that I think a lot of people should be aware of and don't actually use. And in particular, I use a compressor for my voice. I have a little bit of a noise gate so that when I'm done speaking, you can basically see that, you know, the levels start to come down a bit. Let me see if I can readjust it so I can like kind of better explain or show this. So I have the noise gate for the microphone because if I didn't have it on, well, you would basically hear a lot of just general volume noise, general noise of just, you know, audio, because audio is still noisy and stuff. I'm actually, about this microphone, this is a Electro Voice RE320. It's a really, really great microphone. I absolutely love it, but it's actually a very quiet output microphone. So I had to use something called a cloud activator or mic activator. It's by Cloud. It's the mic activator CL1, and it's powered over phantom power off my mixer and adds about a plus 25 dB boost to the microphone. So when it hits the mixer board, I'm not riding the edge of my preamps so hard that it's basically creating a lot of extra noise and you're hearing all the preamp and stuff. I mean, nobody wants to hear that. Let's be honest. Especially me. I don't want to hear it. So I have that. Now here's an interesting. I'm actually kind of double compressing in a way. I have, because I could be kind of a loud person sometimes when I'm speaking. I will start really, you know, like laughing or joking or whatever with my friends. And I actually have a compressor that's actually activates a 1 dial compressor, and it's about on 12 o'clock on the mixer board. And my microphone is about 1 o'clock on the gain input. And then about 12 o'clock for the compressor, and then another about 1 o'clock for the actual level before it actually hits the computer. These two dials here, which I know you can't really see, but there's a level stereo and a monitor and stuff. Those actually don't affect how loud it comes into the computer. However loud off of this channel is however loud it hits the computer. And you can kind of, you can sort of see an example of that. If you look at the like check, hey, you can see how loud it is with a line on my recording playback for my computer. So even though it's kind of like being already compressed before it hits my computer, I just thought it'd just still be important to, you know, to have it sort of, I guess, you know, make sure I'm not like I'm not coming in too hot or too loud or whatever and stuff. So, but that's not really important. What is actually kind of important is actually my computer audio. Now, as of, let's see, it is as of May, let's see, I think we're in a month away. Yeah, as of May 22nd, when this video is recorded, OBS had basically pushed out an update, and they allowed sidechaining or ducking source. I don't think there's anybody that's done a video about this, so I'm going to go ahead and explain it to you. So sidechaining in and of itself is kind of a bit of a weird concept. I still have trouble trying to understand it, in all honesty. But basically, sidechaining is where, like, if a certain source is louder than the source, I think, like, going in or something like that, it will basically turn itself down automatically based on the volume that's being pushed out. It's not probably the best way of explaining sidechaining, but it's sort of a little bit of like that. It's like saying, like, hey, like, I'm being really, really super, super loud, and then something is super, super quiet. And actually, here, let me give you an example of that. So the reason why I have this reason why I gave you all that wonderful information is because I have some sidechaining ducking enabled on my PC audio. And I have two compressors that apply for my VoIP and my voice. And what happens is, if I play a piece of music, like, for example, I'm gonna play something from Approaching Nirvana here. I don't know, let me just pick, like, I don't know, I'll pick this. So if you take a listen, you know, obviously hear my voice. Now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna purposely turn this up, and I'm gonna speak over this track. And what's basically happening is, as I'm speaking over it, it's basically automatically turning the volume down based on how loud my voice is. You actually see in the levels that when I stop talking, the music returns back to normal volume. So that is basically how I use the sidechaining feature, which has been an absolute godsend in some instances. Like, thank you, Lord, for something so brilliant. So I use that a lot, very heavily with. I use it basically every stream, any recording, and then I also have the VoIP as a side chain, because when my friends speak, I want my friends to be able to be the word listenable isn't the word, but audible. Like, I want people audible. Yeah, I guess is the word, for them to be able to hear that, you know, say, like, a friend of mine is talking, and then, you know, the video game gets turned down. So if we're playing like Overwatch, or if we're playing like PUBG is a good example of this. PUBG has an instance where they drop bombs from the sky and stuff, and it's super, super loud, which, by the way, PUBG, please allow us to turn down the explosions. It's way too loud. Please be considerate. It's really deafening to your ears, honestly. Don't turn PUBG up really loud. But PUBG being an example. So when bombs drop from the sky, right? If I'm talking and there's, like, you know, pew, pew, you know, so dropping and all that kind of stuff is really super, super loud and stuff. Basically, because I'm sidechaining my computer audio and the video game audio, that automatically gets turned down for me. So I don't have to go in and manually adjust my audio on the fly. The compressor just kicks in and it squashes that PC audio down, so that even in the most loudest sound possible that's hitting up into the yellow region between 20 and 10 and 20 decibels, I will still be viewable. Yeah, right. I will still be listenable or audible either way. I feel like I want to say listenable, and that is not a real word. That is bad grammar. So that's basically how my OBS is set up. I have done several tests. I've done several live streams, and I've listened back to my live streams. And from what I have found, that is the best way to do it. Is basically, if you can, what you're going to do is, like, say, like, you have your PC audio, you basically click the little gear thing, click filters, and you click the plus icon, add a compressor, name it whatever you want. Like, I'm just say, you know, like, compressor test, right? And then basically sidechain ducking source, pick whatever you want. In my case, it would be where to be. Well, okay, let's say Dad's PC. Let's say if my dad was sending me audio over NDI, and my computer is picking it up. And so even if his video game is going or whatever, it will duck his audio down so that I can still speak over it and stuff. That's basically how you do that. I recommend literally any streamer to do this. Like, no matter what your audio setup is, seriously, ducking sidechaining is going to change everything about how you stream. I'm not even just saying as a buzzword, like, it literally does. So that's on the OBS side. That's how that all works. Now, what I'm doing when I'm playing like a video game, actually I don't have a video game loaded up. What I have found to be the best on literally most every video game, it doesn't matter if it's PUBG, Overwatch, Minecraft, whatever, turn your audio down literally to 50%. I'm not even joking. Like, it sounds like silly to say, why 50%? For some reason, from my testing and my experience, having anything between 40 and 50% on video game audio is literally seems to be like the best balance between it's loud but it's not 100% loud, right? So for me in particular, because I have that sidechain ducking, I have found that having that 50% volume seems to be the best mix overall between you can hear what's going on. So if you're playing PUBG, you can hear footsteps, and it's not too loud that you can't hear you can't hear yourself, or other people can't hear you when you're streaming or on YouTube or whatever doing gameplay. People can still hear you. So that's just from a lot of testing that I've done, a lot of like, mixing stuff that I've done. That's what I suggest. Now, the story kind of changes a little bit if you're talking about like, if you're talking about music in particular. Now, granted, I think over here on iTunes on my other monitor here, I have iTunes probably around like 40-50% or so, give or take. But when I'm playing games like PUBG, for example, what I've actually done is I play like off of Pandora, right? So Pandora is down around like between 5 to 10% on its volume, which is super, super low. But even at the lowest volume possible for that, it is still audible for your listeners. Like, people still pick up on the song that you're listening to. Now, as far as the music volume goes, that will sort of vary by you. I know it sounds weird to say that, well, why does it vary? You already said to put the game audio at 50% and all this kind of stuff. It's because not everybody's going to have the audio setup that I have. Like, mine is sort of very unique and it works really well. It's really great, but I have to realize that like not everybody's going to have the same thing, because most people usually either have a microphone or will have their desktop audio in their headphones, right? And they don't have a way of splitting like, their comms and their microphone or their PC audio. I just happen to be blessed enough with my setup to do that. So I would say for anybody else's volume, probably around maybe some grace of like 20 to maybe like 40% audio level for the music, and maybe around like 50 for your video game, stuff like that, and then do some sidechain ducking like I showed in OBS and stuff. And I think that probably universally that may be the best sort of mix for you. Now, if you're someone like me who's fortunate, I actually have a bit of a bonus by having the Astro 50 headset, and I will now show you why I have that bonus. So basically in my audio, Astro has designed their driver in a very cool way, where basically you have, if you notice, it actually says game and then voice, right? So on Discord, I have it that voice, the output of my communication goes to voice, and then my game goes to game. Now, I want to take note of the check marks here, because this will explain the VoIP versus the mic versus the PC. So in Windows, just by nature, when you click to choose a default playback device, let's for example here, let's start from 0, right? Okay, so by default, it's a Realtek high definition audio driver, right? Okay, that's built on my motherboard. But when I go to do live streaming, I say set this as default. Now what this does is it will route anything that's in PC audio. Just for some reason, by design, Windows is actually good at this, which is kind of funny. It will route anything that is the default playback device, music, game, whatever, to my headset. Okay, but like everything goes to my headset, but it will route it specifically to that output. Communication, however, is a bit different, because communication is its own, like Windows knows, like, okay, there's a default playback device in communication. It's just built natively into Windows, which is really actually kind of nice. And what will actually end up happening is on Discord, everything is routed to go to the Astro A50 voice. And I tell Windows, okay, we'll set this to default communication device, default device in general. And so that is where having this particular headset is actually kind of nice, because what happens is not only now do I have these two different locations that the audio goes to, ultimately, yes, it still goes to the headset. And actually, let me quick show you something. Astro has the software. We can really decide your own personal mix, either more voice and more game. That's really, really super nice. And I actually wish more headsets had that ability. Because when you're streaming and you want to separate your voice and your game, it is such a blessing to have two different ways of routing. Like, it goes to the same place, but it gets routed differently in the process of getting to the headset. Now, what happens then is, because I have that, here's where it gets good. In the audio section, right, I have desktop audio device 2. notice what I have it set to. Desktop audio device, the Astro A50 voice. Desktop audio device 2, Astro A50 game, right? So now what happens is that I can independently mix my voice over IP, whether it's Discord or TeamSpeak, as a different volume than my microphone and my game. And as I noted earlier, that's where all the sidechain ducking comes in, because now what happens is the PC audio is now getting the voice. There's a voice compressor, and I told the PC audio compressor to sidechain duck my voice or IP, so that when people speak, this level here actually goes down. And it really makes a huge difference as far as how people listen to my Twitch stream. So we can all be talking and you will hear all of us clearly, because the audio, the PC game audio is getting turned down ultimately. Now, you may not want that. I understand not everybody wants to be able to hear that together, but honestly, let's be honest. And this is sort of directed more at Twitch streamers, but also probably, game commentators that do stuff on YouTube, but more specifically for Twitch streaming. I understand you may want to hear, like, you want to hear the person speaking, you want to hear the game, all that kind of stuff. Then that's great. Don't get me wrong. But I think that honestly, people watch your stream for you, right? They want to hear what you have to say. They want to talk to you, whatever. And so I think that the sidechain ducking is helpful because it allows people to hear you and the other party that you're talking to. And suddenly you don't hear some loud random sound effect or loud play of the game sound effect from Overwatch or whatever while you're talking to friends. You don't have your viewers going like, what did he say? What did he say? Like, it's really great to do that sidechain ducking along with, setting your game audio 50%, setting your music down around like 20 to 40%. And by just doing a couple little settings like this with the side chaining, all that stuff, excuse me while my email goes off, it really just creates a really nice viewing listening experience. So that is basically how like my audio works. Again, I know not everybody would have the same similar setup or the same similar benefits that I have. There's probably ways that you could like route your voice in a different way. I know that on OBS there's actually a way in the advanced audio properties to listen to audio monitoring. You can set it to monitor only mute output. So basically you hear in your headphones, but people won't hear it twice that you're monitoring something in your headphones or whatever. So I could basically, if I turn my... Everybody, Grid21, sorry to jump in the middle of your viewing experience, but I wanted to quick make a fast note about the monitor mute output. It seems in OBS, and I don't know if this is by design or by glitch, that when you do monitor mute output, your audio gets significantly more quiet. I tried asking on the OBS Discord, but somebody said it sounds like my OBS audio might be slightly messed up with Windows. I'm not exactly sure if that's the case. If everybody knows what the answer to that is, that'd be really, really great, because I certainly don't know what it is. But just note that if you do monitor and mute output, it is possible your audio may go quiet. I don't know if it's just me. And also too, if you do monitor and output at the same time, the volume basically sounds mostly the same. So again, I don't know if this is a glitch by my system or by design. So I just wanted to make this quick little note for anybody that was wondering why my audio dropped off in the middle of the video. Okay, sorry, I'll return you back to your viewing. Sorry about that. My own monitoring down off the mixer and turn this on. I still hear myself. Now, granted, it's kind of delayed because it's just the way that Windows routes all the audio and stuff. It might end up like sort of voice jamming yourself, which is never really good. But it's helpful. So say you have like virtual audio cable, for example, and you tell Discord, okay, route the output to virtual audio cable 1, and then you import virtual audio cable as a desktop source, and you bring it in OBS, and you could tell it to monitor playback. It wouldn't be as, it'd be kind of weird because there's a possibility that certain types of listening could be slightly delayed, although I have heard of people doing it in such a way where I guess there's not much of a delay. They basically hear what their friends are saying anyway. But for me in particular, and for you in particular, for those of you who have, the Asteroid 50 headset, or have a headset that allows you to adjust your own personal mix and stuff, generally I leave a lot of this, pretty much in center. If I were to tap my headset, you can see that like I can adjust how far off center my audio mix is. Generally, I have us maybe about like 2 clicks off of center, or sometimes maybe like 2 clicks off of center for voice and stuff. But if you mix the idea is that basically, in the grand scheme of all this, okay, the grand scheme of all of this is that you want to not have to touch, that doesn't sound right. You don't want to have to touch your audio so much that it takes away from your broadcast, okay? I don't want anybody to have to feel like that when they mix their audio, they're like, somebody's too loud, turn it down, turn it down, turn it down. Oh, now the game's too loud, turn it up, turn it up, turn it up. I mean, it's ridiculous. Now, I actually want to quickly put a bit of a note here. Here's the thing. The really good sound mixing basically is that if something is too loud, right? I kind of think people do this sort of by, I don't know. I don't even think really people think about this, is the fact that like they're turning things up, right? Problem is, the more you turn something up, the louder and louder and louder it goes, right? You're not solving the problem. You're adding to the problem now, because you are mixing, you are bringing in so many volumes that you're actually destroying your own hearing. Here's a tip. This is literally a pro tip, and I've done live sound mixing before outside of my studio. If you can't hear something, turn something else down, right? So basically, if you can't hear your friends on like Discord or whatever, turn your gain down. If you can't hear like your music, maybe turn your music up a little bit, just slightly, or turn your friends down, or turn the game down, whatever. Literally, it sounds weird to say to turn something up, but honestly, the way that true audio mixing should work is that you should actually turn things down. And the more you turn certain things down, the easier it is to actually hear your friends, hear your game, hear yourself if you've got a live playback like I do. And it just makes for it protects your hearing, because your hearing is very important when you're a streamer or a content creator. Like, I cannot stress enough, do not listen to loud music for long periods of time. And honestly, don't turn up video games to the point where you're blasting your own ears out. That is not safe. That can destroy your eardrums. Honestly, be conscious of your ears. You have them, you have to have them forever, right? So basically, when you're live streaming, again, if something's too loud, turn something else down. Or if you have a way of maybe running your computer through a compressor, where you can do like an output through the back and run it through a compressor, and then compress like the signal down before it goes back and hits your voice. Do that too. That can work. That's another option. But again, like, these are some things that you can do to make your audio sound better, make you more successful as a streamer or a content creator, makes you look more professional because you know how to mix your audio properly. And the tips I just showed you are things that you can do yourself, very simple to do, such as sidechain ducking. Turn down your video game audio to 50%, turn down your music to maybe like 20%, give or take. And by just doing these few things, it creates a very nice mix to listen to. So I hope this video was helpful. I know it was kind of like weird and me rambling and stuff. I kind of did this in like, rapid fire type of thing. And this is completely unscripted. These are some thoughts I've been formulating for a long time and was trying to figure out how to explain it. But I hope it makes sense. If it doesn't make sense, go ahead, drop a comment, tell me why it didn't make sense, and I will try to either make a follow-up video or comment to you directly. Guys, I read the comments. I reply back to them as much as I can. If I don't know something, I'll point you to somewhere that may be able to explain better than I can. So thank you so much for watching. Hope you found this video useful. And please, if you subscribe, turn on the little, I hate to sound like the typical YouTuber, but I really have to. Seriously, that little bell icon thing, it's not just like it's not just something of YouTube. Like, it actually lets you know when I post a new video. So literally hit the bell icon and subscribe so you know when I post a new video, like, so that you don't miss it. Because I want to help you guys be better. I'm sharing my personal experience. You're gaining knowledge. You're gaining, becoming better as a content creator, streamer, better as a person. That's always good, right? So thank you guys so much for watching. Until then, catch you guys later.